Sup, MRB? Well, I'm going to make you even more bored. Because for now, we're just watching a render happen. But I'll get back to animating once it's done. Which, oh god, when does this end? I actually don't remember when this render ends. I think it's in the 7300s. Good time to take a shower. Sup, incidentally. I mean, take your shower, you stink. Can smell you from here. I think I'm streaming to YouTube too. I don't know if it's working. Oh, yeah, it is. Cool. Enjoy your soak. I actually need a bath pretty badly too, but I don't want to wake up Ferox. She is sleeping. And our bath is right next to the bedroom, so that's no fun. My day has sucked for the most part. Still more difficulties with my cat and the vet being terrible. And me being tired. But I'm here. And I'm awake for some reason. Yeah. At least mine wasn't boring. I don't tend to have boring days, though. There's always something going on. But yeah, I'm doing a little bit more with animation. I'm getting more confident with it. Doing more than just messing around with the head. Yeah, that's true. I saw that. It looks cool. I still need to put up my poster. I found my poster that I bought just on a whim when I was in university, which is an authentic reprint of a poster of the Soviet Union. Yeah, thank you. I think I'm improving with every video. Yeah, I still need to put it up. I'm actually not even sure where to put it up. Ferox just has the walls covered with anime shit and other things. There's one wall here that's mine that I don't really have room for because it's got my degrees and stuff on it. It'll probably have to go in the bedroom. Yeah, I definitely don't put things up in bathrooms, especially not paper. It's just a paper poster. We do have a spare bedroom, and it would be funny, admittedly, to just cover that spare bedroom in communist propaganda. I think that'd be hilarious, especially like if my parents come to visit. Sometimes my dad flies out of the city that I'm in, so if he ever does need a place to stay, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, just come down here. We got a room for you." And it'll just, I don't know if you ever visit any like if you visit a sick home, and I'm a sick. I've visited a lot of homes of sick people, um, ethnically sick, I should say. I'm not ethnically sick. Um, you go in there, and they always have music playing. It's a very musical religion, so it's just constant religious music going in the background, very quietly. That's what it'll be like in that bedroom, except it'll just be different versions of L'International. And my dad will come in and be like, "Can we turn this shit off?" And I'll be like, "Niet." I just like trolling my dad. He trolls me back, so. The Pigeon Republic. I don't think you would get the reference. Oh, render's done. All right, let's go. Let's change this to that. Close the render. Get back to work. Where is the next clip of me talking without background? This is good. Last animation is good. Animation is hard. It takes work. And the less I have to do, the better, to be honest. My quality goes up too when I don't have to do as much, obviously. Alright, you're gonna hear two of me sometimes. I tell you now about the variety among civilizations. Yeah, you'll enjoy the fruits. I don't know if you'll enjoy the stream of me creating the fruits, but I felt like being sociable. Yeah, for sure.
But the variety among
Welcome back, Alex. Slightly less stonk. It's always a good time for Breaking Bad references.
civilizations and
Oh, geez, you're behind the times. You know what? Actually, I don't like that I'm doing that.
civilizations and the many ways you could play.
Oh, yeah, I guess. You are small, aren't you?
Civilizations to tell you those civilizations to tell you this.
No, you're definitely just small. Where is it? There it is. burgundy, maybe. Kind of a sort of a deep purpley red. Okay, that's it for that short section. This video is just full of short sections, which is a little bit mind-numbing. But again, it does mean that my quality is going to be a bit higher just because I'm not working on it for hours and hours on end. I'm taking sort of breaks. Like I'm just doing this and then rendering. Doing it in the next, 200 frames and then rendering. Well, usually I just go hard. And breaks unfortunately mean that I can't just like go hard and do this for 16 hours straight and then have a video done and then I just render for a day and a half, which is what I usually do with these videos. Now I'm animating these short little periods and then I'm rendering. Animating short little periods and then rendering. So it's honestly just going to take longer, but it's going to be better. Next step is the hair. Bake the hair. Bleed, bake. 8 to 430 and let's do 8620. But I am the kind of person, like even in university, when I had to write an essay, I would just go hard and write the essay on like the second last day and churn out 3,000 words in a day. That's just how I roll. That's how I tend to do things. So this is weird for me. I've done a couple of videos, 1 or 2 videos like this before, and they do turn out well. You can probably actually even tell if you if you went back and watched all of my videos. You'd be like, okay, yeah, it's these ones. Because the quality is a lot better. Yeah, and that's fair. Everybody's different. And it took me a long time just to come to terms with the fact that it's not because I'm lazy or because I, like to procrastinate or something. It's just my brain works better when it's just like put everything down, slam my fists on the desk, sometimes literally, and just do it. And do it all at once, get it done. And just like ride on adrenaline and caffeine and rage. I do my best work like that. If I start and stop, I get fatigued. Render time. So we're coming up on frame 9,000. There's over 3,000 or 30,000 frames in this one. It's a long video. It's going to be, I think, almost 23 minutes long. So long for me. Age of Empires. Bit more casual video because I do have, well, it's not 23 minutes of animation. If it was, yeah, I would be toast. A lot of it is gameplay footage, which also took a long time to get. like several days of just playing these fucking games until I could get enough footage of like interesting stuff happening and relevant stuff happening. Yeah, I fully expect that nobody's gonna watch this video, but I felt like doing it. I just wrote it on a whim, and I happened to write it all at once. And I was like, you know what? I might as well use this. Because after this, I'd like to do a video on the whole, like, this latest sort of move towards building the right wing in the furry fandom. I'd like to talk about that because I do have some sources on that. And I also kind of want to talk about, I finally decided sort of the stance to take on a few issues that I haven't wanted to talk about, or rather I have wanted to talk about, but I haven't decided how I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to actually talk about all of them all at once under the heading of basically the United States is fucked. I'm going to talk about that, which sounds really broad and maybe really obvious, but it'll be interesting, I promised. No, the fact that fascism is literally baked into the nation, and there frankly is no hope at reforming it. Like, we outside of the United States look at the United States and are sitting here like, well, why don't you guys just have single payer healthcare? Why don't you just, have actual fucking gun laws? Why don't you just be like us? And the fact is, they can't. There is no hope for that. The only option is literal revolution, a complete upheaval. Reform is not possible at this point. So yeah, kind of more of a fun video. It's still a political video, this one, but more of a fun video before I start talking about that stuff, I've decided. And I do really still want to do my historical series. I still don't have the confidence. I don't want to talk about, some of my heroes and then half a year later read some more about them and be like, God damn it, why didn't I talk about that? So those will come one day, just not yet. Bernie isn't a revolutionary. See, this is my point. Legislation wouldn't change anything. Santa also isn't a revolutionary. He's a self-defined democratic socialist, right? That's reformist. So kind of one of the things that really made me decide that this is the stance to take was my discussion with Ciaprin. I'm from Canada, and up here in Canada, most people who, apart from like hunting, and I used to hunt, but otherwise we don't see guns up here. You just don't. So it's always just a knee-jerk reaction when, and I think I speak for a lot of different Canadians, when we come online and see Hi, Capitan. We come online and we see people just talking casually about their gun collections and showing them off, and here's the ammunition that I use at the range, and etc. There's always just this knee-jerk reaction of like, okay, this is a violent person that I'm talking to. So I wound up in a debate finally with Cyprian, and we do have we have some very prominent members of the SRA in the Praxis server. So I wound up getting in a debate with him, especially after this Uvalde stuff, with me saying, you guys need to just pass proper fucking gun legislation and join the rest of the world. And it came down to, and I wound up kind of agreeing with her, is she said, you can't. Maybe you can up there, but you can't in America because who is going to enforce it? The police. And who are the police in America? The police are fascist, and they will always be fascist. They're built on a fascist system and a fascist culture, a very gun-heavy, fascist, hierarchical, rigidly racist, etc. culture that's not going to go away just because you add some legislation. And there is no solution to that, apart from revolution, apart from a radical upheaval that would be serious enough and probably ultimately violent enough that it radically changes the culture of the nation in the same way that the American Revolution did. Well, Capitan, it is racist, but it's not racist in the same way that, saying the same thing about African countries would be. Because it's punching up. America rules the world. You can be racist against them all you want. Just like with the whole bullshit about saying the C word on Twitch, right? It's like, well, is it racist? Is it a slur? Technically, yeah, but it's against, the top of the hierarchy. It's against white people. It's not the same as the N-word. Not at all. So, make fun of Americans all you want. Honestly, make fun of Canadians all you want to. Make fun of Europe, the Eurosphere, the Amerosphere, as much as you like. They need a revolutionary. They honestly just need upheaval. It doesn't even need to be like a specific revolutionary leader. There just needs to be serious upheaval. Yeah, there will always be some kind of leader that emerges. But what I'm saying is we don't need to have someone stand up and say, yes, I will lead the revolution. Let the revolution happen and let people speak up, and, charismatic speakers will be charismatic speakers. That's the that's human nature. That's just kind of how we are as social beings. Part of the reason I'm not an anarchist is because there's always going to be some kind of leader. And I feel that it's important to recognize when that leadership happens than to, strain and try to insist that there is no hierarchy happening when hierarchy is going to happen, at least to some extent, even just on a social informal level. Among unions, you have union representatives. Well, I don't know why it rendered that last frame. I didn't want it to render that frame, but that's okay. We can just cut that out. Yeah, there's supposed to be no hierarchy in anarchism. From my understanding, I say as a non-anarchist. I know a lot of the time I say something about anarchism, and then an anarchist always pops out of the woodwork to be like, no. And I'm like, oh, sorry. I hope the rain outside isn't too noisy, by the way. I have the window open because it's lovely. This is a longer span of animation. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's true. I shouldn't paint them all with that brush. I just did the wrong stuff. I was wondering why that wasn't showing up. Yeah, and that's always what I feel like I see as a Canadian looking at the United States, is people just LARPing. And my LARPometer is a little bit oversensitive. I think I recognize that. That goes with guns. That goes with, communists in general, anarchists in general too, leftists in general, people in general. But I'm like, yeah, man, you ain't real. But I think I like it that way, because I also get to speak with people who are like from Sudan, for instance, where there is an active communist revolution going on, and hearing about what's going on over there, and I'm like, man, we're all just fucking LARPers. Us over here in the West, we don't know shit. And that even comes to with guns, firearms. Like, you over in America that talking about how your guns are going to, lead the revolution, be the tool of the revolution. You don't know what you're talking about. You look over in places that are actively undergoing civil war. Like, your guns aren't going to do shit. But again, America at this point has to have its guns. There's no way around that anymore. I'm starting to feel that way. Up here in Canada, we don't need them because people aren't really shooting trans kids up here. I think that's the case in Europe as well. Most of Europe, anyway. Oh God, Fortnite dance? That would be... God, I'd have to animate that. I don't know if I'm confident enough to animate him dancing yet. But that might be an idea. I wonder if actually, you know what? I bet I could find like a rig just dancing on the internet, and I could just copy and paste those animations onto my avatar because he mostly just uses a standard skeleton. So I could probably do that. I would hate myself forever. I would have to like repent, but I could do it. Sometimes aligning yourself with maybe for next April
minor.
Fools. Yeah. It would have to be like, it would have to be a joke. I'd have to make it very clear that I'm not playing it straight. I tend to be operating on like 6 different levels of irony when I'm making my jokes and it never lands. I need to make sure this one lands because I would never live it down if people thought I was serious. He, she, they, it. I feel like for this avatar, I use he like maybe 50% of the time, maybe a little bit more. They close to the rest of the time. And I'll use it like 10% of the time, even though I actually prefer it pronouns. It's hard to convince people of it. Ferret plush, yes, I guess that still needs to happen someday. One day when we have money. But what's in your pants? Scales. A whole lot of gold. Lint and a trap I made this morning. I love kobolds. I can do this forever. Thanks, Capitan. Appreciate that. I was actually batting around when I was making this avatar. I was thinking about being Comrade Kobold. But I settled on Comrade Ferret. What was I saying again? Sometimes aligning yourself with yes. This makes all sorts of furry statues. Make a furry republic. Would be cute. Your sister's getting new ferrets? Sometimes aligning yourself with Actually, I feel like he's too not vertical there. Let's change that. No, the ferrets must be cared for properly, and ferrets are difficult. Ferrets are difficult. It's a bit too much. Self with minor Native American civilization. Minor. Yeah, very much. They just have no backbone. You can just they can go anywhere. Yep. They have no fear. Weasels just in general seem to have like a stunted fear reaction. So large animals, cats, dogs, doesn't matter. They're just interesting to them rather. I don't like that actually. Cats are good when you don't treat them as if they're just um ornaments. Weasels don't fear anything. Like, don't fear vacuum cleaners. They don't fear me stomping and chasing after them. They fear nothing. Okay, that's good. They don't have to worry about not being able to pay the bills. They have no money. They don't care. I played through the first Bioshock. I never actually tried the second, even though I have the collector's edition. I bought the collector's edition, never actually played it. Way back in the day. And I couldn't handle Bioshock Infinite. It was just too gory for me. And I get ill very easily. I am a wimp. I'm fine with blood in real life is the funny thing. Like I've done first aid with like head wounds and stuff like that. Hasn't bothered me. But blood and guts on screen fucks me up. Oh, really? Yeah, I'm the opposite, which I think is really weird. Let's do this. Oh, let's maybe not do that. Shit. Native Americans. Native Americans. I'm pretty sure it's just on Steam, isn't it? It is a good game, and it's honestly fairly based because it's a literal criticism of laissez-faire capitalism, specifically objectivism. I don't know about the second and the third ones, but oh yeah, right. You don't have a. You're not part of the gaming master race. Yeah, yeah, that sounds familiar. American civilizations like the like the Iroquois. Hmm. Yeah, and Disco Elysium will work on any computer. I definitely do recommend it if you like story-driven stuff. I still haven't beaten it myself, but honestly, I have so many friends who are obsessed with it. I've been spoiled it all to hell on it anyway. At this point, I might as well have played it. It is really good. I'd like to make a game like that one day. Okay, well, we won't spoil you here on the stream. Oh, those are the wrong things. We don't want to change that. We want to change those. Which in real life, by the game. Yeah, that's awesome. And honestly, I think we should normalize cis people changing their names. It's like, you know what? You don't like your birth name? Fucking get a better one. You don't gotta be trans to change your name. Ah. Yeah, Def needs to stream more. I helped him get his VR chat avatar into VC Face. And I don't think he's actually used it. Like, he's messed around with it and he was very excited about it, but he's had a difficult time with life. Yeah. I'm sure he'll get around to it, though. Which, in real life... Yeah, I think he's doing better these days. He just needs to get back into streaming. I mean, androgynous names are the best. I'm living proof of that. It's pretty enjoyable. You get to be the center of attention. In 2005 was already in name. Whoa. Game's release in 2005 was already. You get to blow up people's eardrums by hearing your voice twice. By the game's release in 2000, real life by the game's release in 2005 was all. Game's release. She is pretty incredible. One of my favorite stories, not that I could tell it off by heart, but I've certainly enjoyed it the couple times that I've heard it. Her life. Those are the magpies. They think I'm hilarious. Sure do.
in 2005 was already a name.
Yeah, I don't remember. You tell me Pirate Queen, Chinese Pirate Queen, and I know who you're talking about. That's all. Yes, there are. I'm fairly sure magpies are native. I'm not sure the Swedish word. Ja, vid det. Svenska orden. I know how to tell you, I don't know. Orden or ordet? Fuck, I can't remember now. Ordet, isn't it? Damn it. I clearly don't know. Sorry. Probably something mumbled. Ja, vet är. Svenska ordet. Yes. The word for magpie. Jo.
Already a name starting to be phased out.
I'm never very confident when I'm speaking other languages, so I tend to mumble. I overthink it. I think the only language that I'm particularly confident in speaking is the local native language that I was raised with. Just because I was raised with it and I took classes and I spoke it with people when I was a kid. No, I never get the chance to speak Swedish anymore anyway. So I'm very out of practice. No, I like the confidence.
Already a name starting to be
pose that I
phased
want
out.
to do for this. I'm kind of like distracted by you guys and the lovely rain. Now being self-conscious about my pronunciation. Med Svennepojken? Med vem? I've actually never seen that term. Is that like slang?
Already a name starting to be phased out as an ethnonym.
guess I'll just do a small change. Yeah, I've never seen that before. Based out as an ethnonym because it was entirely European in origin. A couple years later, the game's an ethnonym. Oh, that would explain why I haven't heard it before. You can't just make up words and assume that I know what you're talking about. An ethnonym is a word that you call a group of people. And I just completely fucked that up. That's okay. As an ethnonym. Out as an ethnonym. It is not. I got stuck in writing my video for BNA. I got too deep in and I started to draw conclusions that I probably shouldn't have drawn. And now I don't know how to write myself out of that, so I might wind up just pressing backspace on half the script because I got a bit too over my head. It's still in the works. It will be done because I love the series and I want to talk about it, but I want to make sure the script is good and I don't want to be just talking out of my ass. I appreciate that, MRB, and I might honestly take you up on that because it is really difficult. At least it was when I was learning. It was very hard to get my Swedish friends. I had a lot of Swedish friends. None of them ever wanted to talk to me. And granted, I lack the confidence. So I didn't really press them on it. I wasn't drawing conclusions from nothing. I was overreaching a little bit. I have BNA on my Plex. Can always stream it. We can watch it on the server sometime. A lot of people didn't like it. Or rather, it came out soon after Beastars, right? And the the quality, I guess you could say, just isn't as high as Beastars. It doesn't look as nice. And it doesn't appeal to the furries quite as nicely. Beastars is just it's literally about Vor. It doesn't get much more furry than Beastars does. And then BNA came out, which is less furry. Usually your furry characters are in human form and people are like, boo, we only want aminals. Because it was entirely... Of course it is. If you're a furry who dislikes Vor, are you really a furry? Or eat stars. because it was entirely European in origin. Origin. I do want to move that just a tiny bit. Who what? Okay. There's those 400 frames done. Get my blinks. My blinks. There was a time when I first started animating for, honestly, like my first 6 videos or so, where I would always start rendering, and as I said, rendering the entire video at once, and then I would finish rendering and be like, I forgot to make my avatar blink. So all of it had to be done over. Because otherwise he would just stare blankly into the camera, and it would be terrible. Well, they aren't cat girls, they're just like slightly less zoomorphic in form than they are in Beastars, but they're still definitely, like, they're not just people with cat ears. I don't know. I don't feel that. Why are you... I did that wrong. Did that wrong. Okay, let's see how terrible this looks. That is not too bad. Okay, let's do that. That's fine. We can work with that. Get our hair did. She definitely has a snout too. She has a muzzle. She has fur all over her body. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just remembered something and I needed to vocalize that aloud. So we're 6.5 minutes in. That means we are officially almost a third done this video. But the middle section is less animation heavy, so we might be done faster than we think. Yeah, no, she 100% has a snout. I'm glad for that. I figured I'd put everybody asleep. Yeah, it's just a small snout. She's a tanuki, right? So it is a fairly small snout. One character who doesn't have a snout is Jackie. Jackie's just a circle. We stand Jackie. Jackie is the best circle. Okay. On to the render. Let you guys watch. Here, I'm going to find a side profile of Michiru. Okay, here we go. I'll put it in the YouTube. But again, like it's a very different kind of animation than Beastars, which is actually 3D. Beastars is doing what I'm doing right now. What you're watching is how Beastars was made. Probably just in a more expensive program. And then they used a filter. So the character models in Beastars are always going to be 100% faithful. They're not going to be in 2D animation, especially in anime, which is specifically a style structured to be easily drawn and quickly drawn. Yeah, they do have some 2D characters in the background. And yeah, I might do the BNA vid next. We'll see. Depends on what I feel like writing first when it comes down to it. I honestly, I think I need to watch the series again. I watched it all the way through with Dace just a couple weeks ago. And I came home and I started writing the script. But the problem is I was, for one thing, we were chatting a lot. For another thing, I was horribly sleep deprived. And for another thing, I was drunk. So I didn't get everything that I wanted to get out of watching the show. It's not going to be a very inspiring video. The one about America's imminent collapse. There are no models that are free to use. Not really. I remember in the video I started talking about, the script rather, I started talking about intersectionality. And I stopped writing, which again, I shouldn't do. And I don't do because it doesn't work well for me because I run out of steam. So I started on the section on intersectionality and I came back to the script a day later and I was like, the fuck was I on about? What was I talking about again? Shit. And so it just died in the water. So I might just need to like erase that whole section because I can't for the life of me remember what I was going to be talking about. There's only one season of BNA. It's 12 episodes. You could buy them, but it would probably cost you a couple $100 for the rights to them. Not to our knowledge, no. BNA is finished. And it doesn't end on a cliffhanger or anything like that, so there's not really any reason for there to be more. It did well, but it's not likely to get a sequel, series, season, whatever. Yeah. Yep, I do prefer my short animes. Like, part of the reason I can't get into JoJo's, part of the reason I can't get into JoJo's is because it's ridiculous and I don't like ridiculous animes most of the time. But the other part of the reason, main part of the reason, is that it's long as fuck. Yeah, it's not my thing. There are some comedic anime that I like. JoJo's isn't really one of them. Like, I need my comedic anime to just be dripping with irony. It's fun because it's stupid. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not the kind of person to watch something because it's dumb. Like when people talk about movies being so bad they're good, I'm just like, that doesn't exist. It's either bad or it's good. And if it's good, and it's funny, and it's ironic, it's because it does that well. Whereas JoJo's is like, it's ridiculously over the top, but I'm still not sure if it's playing it straight. One Punch Man does it properly, I think. For me, anyway. Again, I'm not saying JoJo's is bad by any means. It's just not my thing. I like One Punch Man because One Punch Man is all like, this is supposed to be ridiculous. You are supposed to laugh at this. This is supposed to be stupid. And I'm making fun of an entire genre. Whereas JoJo's is more like, I am the genre. I think there's just 3 seasons. I think there's 3, yeah. Yeah, no, not at all. So whenever I say that I'm like something, don't think that that's a judgment on you. People are allowed to like things that I don't. One Punch Man is great. One of the other funny animes that I like is Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. It's hecking adorable. It's really just like, it's the kind of funny that makes you squirm in your seat. Where it's just like, what the fuck am I watching? Why are these characters like this? But then it steps out and it becomes like actually a really touching anime at times. It'll just be hilarious, and then the other moment, almost to the extent of like, you know how BoJack Horseman does it? Obviously not to that extent. But like it's funny, and then you blink and it's actually like giving you something real to chew on. I really like that. And the other comedic one that I absolutely adore is The Way of the House Husband, which is also on Netflix if you happen to have that subscription still. Yeah, it's way too cute. Cat's ridiculous. If you like House Husband, you'll like Miss Kobayashi's. Actually, there's also another similar one to House Husband that Ferox just finally managed to turn me on to is Spy X Family. It's just what it sounds like. It's about a spy who has been tasked with a mission that includes pretending to be a family man. So he pretends to adopt a child and pretends to get married, and he has this whole life of it. But the thing is, every other character also has some secret life going on as well, and they're all just hiding from each other, and it's a riot. Hi, Super Desmond. How you doing? We're just rendering. Spy X Family. How do I like war films? I guess it depends on the film. If it's just straight up action, I get bored. If it's something that's saying something, like Full Metal Jacket or War Horse, I adore it. I couldn't get much out of Saving Private Ryan, but that might have been because it was so grisly. And again, I get sick easily. Yeah, that's what I figured too. So it has to say something and it has to be the right thing. War Horse was great. Full Metal Jacket was great. Those are the two that I can think of off the top of my head that I really enjoyed. Would Grave of the Fireflies count as a war movie? Because that was intense. I still haven't seen Beast of No Nation. Thank you for reminding me. I sometimes lose track of the movies that I need to watch, and that one kind of flew under my radar. Yeah, Grave of the Fireflies was wonderful. Um, Blood Diamond, kind of too. I know it has issues, but I really liked it for what it was. Yeah, I've heard it's sad. I've heard of it. I remember it being talked about. Yeah, when the brutality means something other than just being brutal for the sake of brutal or brutal even for the sake of being realistic, that doesn't do anything for me. When the brutality is to showcase brutality, um, I can look past it and I can enjoy the movie despite the fact that it's making me ill. Yes. I liked Tears of the Sun as well. That's definitely a war movie. I'll always have the soundtrack stuck in my head too, because I watched it when I was quite young. It was one of the first like really hard hitting movies that I watched that I can remember anyway. And it was one of those movies that I watched at late at night, so my mind was open and my heart was open, and it definitely shook me. You know, when I was 12 years old or whatever. I have not seen 1917. I'll look into it. Does Doctor Strangelove count as a war movie? It's a Cold War movie. It's a nuclear war movie. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I love when movies do that sort of thing. The first movie that I saw was Phone Booth. That's, I think, an hour and 40-some minutes long. And it took an hour and 40-some minutes to record. It was all recorded in one take. And it gives it this very fluid, frantic feel that I really love. Yeah, I'll have a look at it. Phone Booth isn't a horror movie. It just reminded me of that. Films with no cuts. Very cool. But yeah, now I'm just wondering what counts as a war movie. Is The Last Samurai a war movie? Is Troy a war movie? I'm one of those terrible people who actually likes both those movies. Feel free to judge me for that. Has to depict war in a scary way, right? That makes sense. So in that case, no to both of them. Yeah. Yeah, it would count out a lot of films out there that depict war as like some glorious thing. Not that I don't like your definition. I feel like that's what a war movie should be, but it would count out a lot of movies that people do consider to be war movies. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Why would you ever think that anything that Stanley Kubrick works on would just be a fun film? He doesn't do fun. Like Full Metal Jacket is probably his most comedic film, and even it's scary. It's a scary film. Scary to the point that literally in the opening, if you watch it, they have to reassure the audience that they've confirmed with the authorities that the events in the movie could never actually take place. Um, yeah, I could see that. You haven't seen Full Metal Jacket, Alex? You've seen the memes. What is your major malfunction, Private Pile? Do you suck dicks? Sir, no, sir. Bullshit, you look like you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose. Yeah, there's a whole scene like that, and it's actually improvised. Because for the actor, they actually got a drill sergeant to play the drill sergeant. He was just doing his thing. Yeah, Kubrick was 100% a genius. Oh, render's done. But yeah, Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, yeah. And for Christmas, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jesus. Happy birthday to you. It's also, I think, where people tend to get the like ridiculous marching songs that are also very racist. So racist that I can't sing them for you over Twitch. Did it again. Put in the wrong thing. 9872. Short one. Now, before you jump on me, I'm not talking. Actually, you know what? That's cute. I like that. I'm going to keep that pose. Hell with it. It's great. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, no, it's all front on lighting. The lighting I used before didn't help me avoid comments telling me that my ferret is creepy. So I'm trying to make him not quite so creepy. Not talking about names that were. I'm not talking. His hair's gonna go everywhere, but that's just. It gets fixed. Don't worry. Yeah, but I want to minimize it. I want people to think it's cute. How many frames is that? Shorten it by one. Thinking about names that were adapted from relevant language. Yeah, I want people to get it. I want people to think that it's not creepy. Into English. Which into English. English. I used to hate 3D too, actually. I still honestly kind of do. Most 3D sucks. My 3D kind of sucks. But I'm trying to get better. And I'm the kind of person who does need to publish their practice and their progress. think it's a bit too far. There we go. It's not like like I would actually be very interested in seeing a 3D kobold. I've wanted to make a 3D kobold avatar, but honestly, if I can just find one and modify it, I'll be happier because I honestly don't know if I could do this again. This took me a long time. Those are just birds. Magpies outside. I will say also this 3D furry, obviously, and this is, again, kind of I'm straddling the barrier between creepy and I don't want it to be, and intentionally creepy. He is more realistic. He's not Disneyfied. No. My diabetic kitty that I'm eternally worried about these days is resting halfway on her bed. Seems to be fine. My other kitty is somewhere else. Probably being an asshole. He's wonderful. And my ferrets are mercifully sleeping. Pets are wonderful. That works. Save. Render. Did we make it past 10,000? I think we did. Yeah, we totally did. But yeah, the first and still honestly my favorite comments on this model is that he looks like he's from Fantastic Mr. Fox. And I like that. Because I don't know about you guys, but I walked into the theater to watch Fantastic Mr. Fox and I sat down and for the first like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I was like, wow, holy shit, this is creepy. This is hideous. What am I watching? But then by the end of it, you love it. You love the stop motion. And I did want to bring some of that with my avatar. Not thinking ahead to the fact that my videos are only 20 minutes long tops. So it doesn't really give people time to get used to them, but whatever. We got to get you watching more movies, Jalix. You are coming on Saturday, right? For Ernesto Celestine. El Nest. Okay, it's a really, really good movie. And you're not going to get a chance to watch it otherwise because it's French. It's not on Netflix. It is the cutest movie that I've watched in my life. I've watched a lot of cute movies. This is the cutest movie in existence. It is about a little mouse named Celestine, who is an apprentice dentist. And it's her role to go to the surface and take the baby teeth from beneath the pillows of baby bears. And on the surface, they're aware of the mice. And both mice and bears fear and hate each other, and they have all sorts of stories about how bears are vicious and will kill you and how mice are tiny little thieves. And these two characters, Celestine, the disillusioned apprentice, and Ernest, the homeless musician, wind up together in a situation. It is completely furry. It is completely cute. It is completely based 1312 anti-cop propaganda. It's fantastic. Oh, that's really cool, Neobald. I need to meet some professional animators. Get me in. MRB, you said don't forget your keys, and I've thought for just this one horrible second that you're saying that I forgot a keyframe somewhere. Oh no, have as high expectations as you want. It's a fucking good movie. Granted, I haven't seen it in English. Siaprin says that the English is fantastic. So, there's quite a few artists in the channel. Artie is a fantastic artist. Ferox is a fantastic artist. Ash is a fantastic artist. Yeah, Tora. This server actually started originally and still wants to be a place for art. That's what it's for. That's why we have specific original content channels, multiple of them. That's why we have the creator verified role. Is to be like, yes, this person creates furry art. They are cool. And we can utilize them to make agitprop. That's what that server was originally meant for. And as we grow, we will be pushing more into that goal. Blue Cat has already been kind of pushing in that direction. I think it's a bit premature personally, but I definitely don't want to get in his way. And I wouldn't want to get in the server's way either. So yes, practice your art. If you want art from people in the server, please do ask, especially if it's commie shit. I shouldn't just say commie shit, leftist shit, anarchist shit too. That was the idea behind it, yeah. It wasn't just lefto-furry, it was lefto-furry art. Agitprop. Basically, Blue Cat saw my videos and was like, hell yeah, somebody else who has kind of the same mind as me. We need agitprop. Dev does voice acting. I of course do videos. I really should just start designing models again. I'm so afraid of trying and finding out that this was just a fluke. And Ash does 2D animation. Oh, sorry, I've got hiccups. Mini painting, what's that? It's sweet of you to say. I'm very much an amateur. I'm just self-taught from YouTube videos. I would like to get to the point where I can take commissions. That would be really cool if I could make a living off of art, but I don't think it's likely. I would really have to start like getting on and doing it every single day, and it's honestly difficult pulling my own teeth to even get myself to go and do another model. Painting miniatures. I mean, that's still cool. I don't know what you could do with that, but you never know. If I get to the point where I can really start churning these out, then I'll definitely be advertising them. You'll be hearing about it. Yeah, but if it couldn't be a side hustle, if it could not be a side hustle, rather. Just saying it would be nice. I've been through too much in my career. I would like to get out of it. Depends on what kind of hardware you hack. Like, that's quite a broad. Talk to people, man. I've done a few writing commissions, and it never stopped being fun for me. God, I've been streaming for 2 hours, which means I've been working on this for 3 hours. And I think this render's almost done. Yeah. 10 more frames. Ish. Certainly does. Don't call me. No. That's hilarious. Yeah. All right, render done. And I'm pretty sure I have another portion to animate. Yeah, right around here. Just about did it again. This is a very short one. Travelers from the west would have encountered. From the west would have encountered. When I think of ridiculous Swedish songs, I just think of Kent's Sonata Fringengo. Would have encountered. Sonata Fringengo. Jag vill ha din ryggrad här, fästen i mig. You've heard it. There's no way you haven't. So it is. Really? It's pretty famous for a while. Maybe it isn't anymore. So not, or I guess they pronounce their weird. It really threw off my pronunciation for a long time, and it still does when I'm pronouncing their music. Actually, its main title is Creme. Yeah, I studied different Swedish dialects, and I know that they're ridiculous. The tonality and everything. I actually have a paper published in it. It's the only paper I have published. Yeah. Oh yeah. You've got over a dozen. Encountered. So it is still an You don't think my pronunciation is bad enough? Still an endonym. Oh God. When I learned French. Yes, I'm Canadian. Yes, I don't speak French. Speak bits and pieces of all sorts of other languages. The only French I know is the French I know from just being around. A name that people called Indonym. A name that people called themselves. Don't want to do that. Yeah, I studied Swedish for years. I'm just rather out of practice and mumbly. Called themselves travel. Okay, that's it for that part. I'm happy enough with it. Let's get our single blink in. Nope, no pants. No pant. Zero pant. Yeah, no, I was planning on moving to Mayo for my studies, and that just never happened. So I studied in high school on my own. I can pronounce stuff, I just mumble because I'm not confident. Again, like the only language that I don't tend to get like, can you repeat that? What did you just say? Is Blackfoot, which I grew up learning. No, Umeo, not Melma. Yeah. I like the cold though. Although actually, Neil, seeing your kobold did remind me that the kobold that I wanted to do, um, and I was kind of this is what kind of inspired me to be like, yes, I should actually do this. Was making one of the lizards from Stellaris, a kind of like gecko slash kobold esque, giant ass eyes. They're these little genocidal maniacs. They're like the cutest thing. And they're part of an event where you, I think you unshield a planet. Or you stop a time loop from happening. These guys have been trapped underneath a shield, and there's a time loop. And you have the option to be like, oh no, this is terrible. Who would have done this to a civilization? Trap them in a time loop to eventually be baked by their star in a nova. So we're going to set them free. And then you set them free, and they're like, haha, fools. Now we are free to commit genocide across the entire galaxy. Yeah, it's vanilla. They're called the Prakiti, and they're adorable, and they're evil. You've probably seen it appear. Sometimes the AI gets it, and they set them free. So you'd be like, what the fuck is with this tiny, like, single system empire of geckos that has a bigger fleet than I do? Nope, they've been around for a very long time. Years. Might have even been since launch. Yep, it's a shielded world. Okay. Good nut. So good. Yeah, definitely make sure you show up Saturday for the film. Oh, well, both of you make sure you come watch the movie. Me too. And I'm making sure this time not to pick up any work. Well, just chatting in text seemed to work well. Although maybe after the movie we can all jump back on voice. I'm sure people will have things to talk about too. It's not like Monty Python. It's not just pure stupidity. People will have things to say. Ernest at Celestine. Sorry, if I'm going to pick an accent, I need to keep with it. Ernest at Celestine. That's right. That was the first time you'd seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, wasn't it? Didn't know you were called Dennis. Yeah, it's aged well. It's aged all right. No, it's quintessential British humor. It's very absurdist. When people think of British humor, they think of Monty Python. I like my dark humor. I like things like Burn After Reading and Pulp Fiction, honestly. And I like humor that makes me go, oh God, should I be watching this? Doctor Strangelove, of course. There's one that I'm forgetting. What am I forgetting? Yeah, after this render, I'm going to check and see when my next bit of animation I need to do is. I might go nap after. Oh, and then Ferox, of course, just woke up. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you're out of there. Glad you're doing better. We'll see when my next slot is and how long it is. This render's almost finished. Yeah, it is right after this. So it is. Starts. Oh my god. My brain is not functional right now. I'm just going to map out what the interval is here. And I might animate it right now, or I might not, depending on how long it is. Wow, very short. Not even 100. Okay, let's do it. English. Chinese is English. Chinese is okay. How did I mess that up? Seven, 8, not 7-2, that's why. Chinese is yeah, no problem. And we'll get back to doing Myst hopefully tomorrow morning too. So 9 Eastern tomorrow. And then I'd like to get back to Thursdays. Just because that's kind of what we had it set in. You won't be able to make it for tomorrow? Okay. I'll see if Siaprin and No Clue are able to. They'll probably be asleep. Maybe we should all get together and figure out what day works for us now that schedules are kind of changing. China. Okay. Maybe we should just start next week with Thursdays then. Because I know Siaprin and Ash and everybody are still settling in. Chinese. Is okay. Oops. Derp. You're What is the next one? Just curious. Quite a ways away. I think this is a long stretch of no animation. So let's get this hair done. Belite Dake. Brief 5-minute render. Actually, while that's going, I'm probably going to call it. The next render is quite a ways away. Actually, no, I'll wait for this to be done and then I'll call it. But yeah, the next bit of animation I need to do is, it looks like 1,000 frames or so ahead. And yeah, I could use at least a little lie down. I'll set an alarm so I don't pass out all day because my sleeping patterns are really messed up. Which is sometimes good, sometimes I work nights, so it's fine. But I know for a fact that I'm not right now. So it's not fine. I need to go fix them. So thanks for keeping me entertained while I did this, and I hope all of you have a good rest of your day/week. All right, sleep well.